Hey Playas, how you darn? Welcome back to Playas Guide, and I'm going to talk about brand new NES games that have either been released already or they're coming out in 2021. So the first homebrew released in 2021 was from an episode of Pawn Stars, and it was based on Pawn Stars. This game is from NES Games, and it is called Chumlee's Adventure: The Quest for Pinky. So this game has a lot of similarity to Kung Fu on the NES. It has you playing Chumlee, and your goal is to take over the pawn shop by beating up a bunch of customers and some of your fellow employees. That's the gist of the game, and it's got some good graphics, good music, and the boss fights are a lot of fun. So if you're a fan of Pawn Stars and you're a fan of the NES, surely you will like this game. The next game to be released in 2021 is a game called Space Gulls. This one's from Broken Studios, and you can buy the ROM off itch.io relatively cheap, and I definitely recommend that you go and do that as soon as you're done watching this video, of course. This game is a blast to play. It's a combination of Flappy Bird mixed with, I don't know, like, it's really its own thing, and it's really unique. There is like a Flappy Bird element, but you're going to be going through different stages, fighting some different enemies, and working your way around some different areas by collecting keys and other items that will help you progress. This is a great homebrew that I just wasn't even expecting to get released this year, but it did, and I would recommend that you go and check it out. Eyra, the Crow Maiden, at the time of this video, has just been released, and you can pick that game up. You can pick the ROM up on itch.io, or you can go over to Second Dimension Studios. They have a whole bunch of different homebrew games available over there. This is their newest one, and it is an action platformer. You play as a female protagonist, and it's a fantasy type setting. It is just a great NES game, and there is a variety of different enemies in it. It's very colorful, so check this one out. Anguna, Scourge of the Goblin King, is next to be released. So this one hasn't been released yet. It's actually up on Kickstarter right now if you'd like to go support this project. This game is being released by 6502, and this game is based off of a Game Boy Advanced game that then had an Atari homebrew that the developer made, and now it's being released on the NES. And it is an RPG style game that has elements that throw back to Zelda or even Deadly Towers. It may be a little bit reminiscent of. And this is one that we're going to be playing live on Playas Guide for the month of June for Homebrew Month. So please tune into Twitch to catch more of the gameplay for this game. Golden Guardian Gun Girl is another game that was just released, and this is sort of like a shoot 'em up. I mean, maybe it is. Let me know in the comments below what you think from the gameplay footage, if you feel that this classifies itself as a shoot 'em up. You're playing as the Golden Guardian Gun Girl, and you're going around eliminating enemies with like a machine gun, I guess you could say that it is. And moving around throughout different stages. But it's not, I guess, your traditional shoot 'em up. Full Quiet from Retrotainment Games, the same company that brought you the Haunted Halloween games. We were kind of expecting to have seen this one by now. There have been a few delays, but it should hopefully be coming out in 2021, maybe early 2022. But this one is not off my radar because this company makes great games, and you should keep it on your radar too. And that's why I've included it in this episode. Blazing Rangers is a new NES game based on a series. I think there's some games on the DS and maybe the Game Boy Advanced as well. I'm not too familiar with the Blazing Rangers series, but I did get a chance to play some of this game because First Pressed Games, who will be releasing this homebrew, has released a demo that you can download and play the first 4 stages. Now, I'll tell you, that last stage, that 4th one, is a tricky one to get through, but I think they did that intentionally to kind of leave you wanting more and to show that the game is more challenging than just the first 3 stages that they gave you. Tapeworm is another NES homebrew that has a demo out right now that you can check out that we're expected to see the release of in 2021. And this game is really unique. This is actually by the same guy that did the game Flea, which is a game I really enjoyed, one of my favorite homebrews. And you play as Tapeworm, who is a character from the Flea game, and you move throughout, I guess, throughout like somebody's body. Maybe it's like supposed to be like the intestines, and you just kind of turn your Tapeworm character to collect certain things and avoid certain obstacles and enemies. I mean, take a look at this one. You're going to want to check it out. I really haven't played anything like it before. If you have, let me know. There's another thing you could put in the comments below. Slow Mo. Here's a homebrew that I'm excited for. The trailer looked really cool for this one. I did get a chance to play the demo, and I found it to be pretty difficult. But that doesn't mean that the completed game, when it's released, which will hopefully be in 2021, will be as difficult. There's only a little bit of the game here to play to really judge it on. It's a fun game. You got to get very precise timing to avoid enemies and different obstacles, precise jumping. I like it a lot, and I want to see more, and I want to play more of this game. So there you have it, Playas. There's a whole bunch of new homebrew games coming out or that have already been released in 2021 that maybe you haven't heard of and you should go check out. If there's any games that you think that I missed, there's something else that you could leave in the comments below, and leave a link to these games, either to where we can go and download the ROM for a demo or the Kickstarter, or anything about these games that you'd like to share with the Playas Guide community. If you'd like to become a bigger part of the Playas Guide community, we have a Discord also linked below that you could check out. It's free to join. You can also subscribe to Playas Guide on Twitter, Instagram, and for daily retro gaming content on Twitch. That's it for this episode of Playas Guide. We want to be your source for retro gaming and collecting. Later, Playas.